We're cooking it up in here. Look at that. It is wonderful. Oh, they're so pretty. Ooh, looks scrumptious. Hey everybody, I'm Vera Stewart and welcome to the VeryVera Show. You know, sometimes dinner for two can be more overwhelming than serving your entire family. But today I'm going to give you some recipes that I think not only are scrumptious, but they're really beautifully presented for that very special dinner. So we're going to start with the Southern chopped salad. This is so colorful. The dressing is absolutely fabulous. I think it's a recipe you're really going to love. And then we're going to jump into a stuffed pork loin. It's got a French onion stuffing, all kinds of things in it. I'm going to show you how to roll it and tie it up. You're going to love this dish, and you'll have some leftovers after that special dinner. And then we'll do oysters Kilpatrick. Now you may know my married name is Kilpatrick, so I'm sure you think this is an old family recipe, but this recipe has a story. I can't wait to share it with you. And then in Vera's Corner today, we're going to do knife usage. I'm going to show you which knife and what to do with it. So I'm ready. Let's get started on that salad. All right, this salad is so delicious. And you know, my mother-in-law told me years ago, if you didn't have anything planned for dinner, just get some bacon going in the oven or on top of the stove and your husband won't even ask what's for dinner because that smell is so amazing. So part of this dressing and the salad is having some cooked bacon. And I actually love to cook bacon in the oven because it doesn't mess up the entire kitchen. So to do that, you just want to put your aluminum foil on a sheet pan, then put a cookie cooling rack or something like that on top, lay the bacon on it, and I cooked this on 400 for about 20 to 25 minutes, depending on the thickness of your bacon. So that's ready to go, and I have my drippings that were in the pan to go into this dressing. So just look at all these wonderful ingredients. Why in the world would you buy bottled dressing when you can do something like this so easily, and the ingredients are fresh and it'll last in the refrigerator for a couple of weeks? So I've got my Wolf blender, and I'm going to start adding all of my ingredients. So it calls for apple cider vinegar. This is zest of a navel orange, and this time of year, they're just fabulous. We've got orange juice from that orange. We've got some yellow mustard. I mean, don't these ingredients just sound great together anyway? All right, now we've got some run-amok maple syrup. And if you want some awesome maple syrup, you need to check out Run-A-Muck because they've got so many different flavors. We've got salt, pepper, and you can use coarsely ground if you'd like. And then this is a shallot that I've cut very finely. So it looks like quite a bit, but it's so flavorful. And then that bacon, the drippings, and I love the little chunks of bacon. I'm going to use about a tablespoon of that. All right, so now we're just going to blend that until it's blended together. And I might turn it up just a little bit just to kind of get it going. Turn it back down. And now I've got pecan oil that I'm going to slowly drizzle into this. Whoop. So I'm going to turn that down just a little bit. And then this is just going to emulsify and have it going. So let me just turn that off. And this will be going into this cruet in a few minutes to save for the salad. So let's bring the bacon back over to the salad and then look at all of these wonderful ingredients. All right, so we've got fresh arugula, and it is my favorite green. I'm trying to get my husband to eat it, but it is fabulous. All right, so this is the Cosmic Crisp apple that tastes tart and sweet all at the same time, really firm, and they do not turn brown. It's perfect apple to use when you're making a salad. And then this is Pecan Nation's pecans, Georgia product, pecan, pecan, whichever one you want to say. All I know is they are great in a salad. We've got craisins. Now, white chouped corn. Is that amazing? Have you ever even thought about this in a salad? I love it. So when I said it was colorful, it is. And then cheese of your choice. This is Gruyere, but you could use Swiss, you can use cheddar, whatever you prefer. And then let's really get fancy. How about some blanched green beans? Are you hungry yet? All right. Then we're gonna take some scissors and we can just cut up that bacon. And I really do love to use the thicker. And I'll keep doing that. And then lastly, what goes with this are cornbread croutons that are fabulous. So I'll finish this up, and when we come back from the break, I'm gonna get started on that French onion stuffed loin. So come on back. Welcome back, everybody. And if you're just joining me, we are doing a romantic dinner, or either just dinner for two or special dinner. And now we're gonna get started on a French onion stuffed pork loin. Now I know a lot of people use tenderloins for a lot of things, but I love the loin for this because it's a bigger cut. I also feel like it's a little bit moisture, so I love to use this. So we had a few steps that we did in advance. French onions we did in our large skillet. We melted the butter. We had 2 medium onions that were thinly sliced. You want to put those together with some beef broth. And those are going to just cook down for about 20 minutes. They're going to get nice and brown because of the beef broth, but you're not overcooking them. Once those are done, I transferred them to a bowl, poured all the broth in there as well, and now I've tinted it with aluminum foil because that's going to be part of the stuffing. All right, so the loin, buy like a 3 to 4 pound loin. You're going to cut it through the center. You don't want to cut it all the way through because what you're basically doing is opening it up like a book. So once that's done, you're going to cover it with saran wrap, then pull out that meat mallet, and I know you've got all of those beginning of the year anxieties. You're going to take it out on this pork loin, and you're going to pound it down to about 1/3 of an inch thick. All right, so that's where we are. So ahead, I mixed together Italian seasonings, salt, pepper, and a little bit of oil. Now I'm going to pour half of that on this side and just spread it with my little spatula. And you know, this is one of those dishes that it sounds so fancy. French onion stuffed pork loin. It's going to look really fancy. You might impress somebody. Maybe it's that new beau you've got for 2022. You know, you can tweak some of the ingredients so it becomes your recipe. All right, so now I'm ready to start layering all of my yummy ingredients that are gonna go in the center. So we're gonna start with these beautiful onions that we did, and I'm gonna use about half of these and spread them on the top. And we're gonna be rolling this up like a burrito. So hopefully your burrito skills are in place, but if not, I'm gonna show you kind of a trick to that as well. So again, cheese is up to you. Provolone, Swiss, Gruyere, whatever you might want to use. And then this is the yummy ingredient. These are Stripling's black-eyed pea relish. You know, we probably all have had our black-eyed peas and collards and, you know, ham or pork on New Year's, but this is just a perfect winter dish. All right, so now we're ready to do the rolling. You've got to get all in. You've got to really bend those fingers and get that going. And this is why you didn't do the entire thing, because all of that filling is gonna move as you roll it. Once you've got it to the end, you bring it towards you and put your seam side down. All right, so now you're gonna use your kitchen twine. Well, little did I know there would be a kitchen twine drought recently. So now I have stocked up on it. I'm not gonna run out of it anymore. So you're gonna begin at this end and you just go under the roast, and then you're gonna just tie a knot. Go ahead and tie it tight. All right, so now I'm gonna go under the roast again. And this is when I'm gonna guesstimate how much I need. and go ahead and cut it off. So once we've gotten to that point, you're gonna start weaving. So get that one tight and twist the other way. And now we'll go again. So under the roast, back over and under. It's like you're in the operating room stitching somebody up. All right, so under. And over again. And this is basically holding this together. Of course, it'll swell a little bit as it bakes. So I've preheated my oven to 450, and this is gonna bake for about 20 to 25 minutes because we're gonna do a broiling part to this as well. So I'm on my last one, and I've got my big Lodge skillet. Wouldn't you love to have a Lodge skillet like that? Well, they would love for you to have one too. So I hope you'll check out Lodge.com for so many of their accessories and items that we use on the VeryVera show. So you're just gonna pick this up. Yes, I love it. One of the reasons I love the Lodge is because this is so well seasoned that that's not gonna stick, and we'll be able to flip it and turn it and get it ready, but you're gonna have a really beautiful loin. And once this finishes in the oven, the plating on this will use some of the extra cheese and the black-eyed pea relish. It's gonna be so good. And you can actually freeze what you don't eat, but you can enjoy it for leftovers for a couple of days after that dinner for two. All right, so in Vera's Corner today, I'm gonna show you some reasons to use a particular knife. And then when we come back, we're gonna do oysters Kilpatrick. So come back with me in just a few minutes. Vera's Corner is brought to you by TaxSlayer. Are you ever confused about which knife to use for which project? Well, today we're going to go through the 3 most used knives, what to use them for, and how to properly take care of them. Make sure to start with sharp quality knives. 3 types of knives are the chef's knife, the bread or serrated knife, and the paring knife. The chef's knife is the most versatile knife in our collection. Chef knives are used mainly to prepare vegetables in different ways, and they can be used to cut and chop vegetables like zucchini, as well as carrots, or even slicing meat like a turkey breast. Their size and shape make them one of the most useful kitchen gadgets. The bread knife is a valuable asset in the kitchen. If you love baking, this knife will be your best friend. The bread knife is used for slicing bread, but its serrated edge is also perfect for cutting cakes and desserts, as well as soft fruits like watermelon or tomatoes. And the paring knife is the knife that is useful in a variety of circumstances, especially fruit. It's perfect for peeling apples or separating oranges for a snack, as well as removing the stem from small fruits such as strawberries. Learning how and when to use your knives correctly can be very helpful if you spend as much time in the kitchen as I do. Start free today at TaxSlayer.com. All right, so we have got, the aromas in here right now are unbelievable. So the pork loin is in the oven, but I had a few things to do before we got it in there. So I finished searing it, and you can actually turn it on its side so that all the sides can get seared too. You're just looking for a nice brown coat to the outside of the loin. And then if you feel like you need a little bit more drippings in it, then you want to add a little beef broth. You could add a little bit of wine, some liquid just to give a little bit of liquid to the bottom of that pan. Then I've got it in a 450-degree oven for about 20 to 30 minutes. You're gonna need to test your temperature with your temperature probe. You're looking for about 160. All right, so now the oysters Kilpatrick. All right. So I've got my oysters all opened up, and you know, we're trying to do a very, very special dinner tonight. We're trying to maybe make up for maybe a mistake that you made, or you just want to be really, really sweet to your husband. So this is the perfect dish. All right, so oysters are just really great this time of year. And having a second home in Beaufort, South Carolina for many, many years, we knew which months to eat oysters and which months not to eat the oysters. And this is one of those months where you can eat the oysters. So look how beautiful that is. So we've put a bed of rock salt on a cookie sheet. And this is why I don't throw away cookie sheets, because you're gonna end up needing one for your grill outside or for a project like this that you don't wanna mess up your good cookie sheet. So I've laid them out on a bed of rock salt. So the name of this recipe is Oysters Kilpatrick. And my married name is Kilpatrick. So everybody thinks when I put this on our website that this is a family recipe. Well, it's actually a recipe that goes way, way back to when a captain on the sea named Patrick kept telling his wife that he was going to spend the day with her. And then the next thing you know, he's got to go fishing today. And so she was so mad one day, she said she was going to kill Patrick. But instead, she changed her mind. She figured that was not the way to have the romantic dinner, so she named this dish Oysters Kilpatrick. So, perfect way to have this great recipe kind of tie into the theme today. So to some freshly cooked bacon, I'm gonna add ketchup. I'm gonna add my Tony Chachere's Creole pepper sauce. That is so good. I've got Worcestershire sauce, and I've got a little bit of lemon juice, and I'm just gonna mix that up. And this is the topping, and it gets so crisp and yummy and warm when you put this under the broiler. All right, so before I do that, I'm gonna take a little bit of Worcestershire sauce and put just a little dab on the top of each one. And you know, if you've been wanting to try an oyster recipe, but you're not really into eating raw, let's try this because they're cooked and it's really delicious because everything that's in this filling is something you're sure gonna like. So I'm gonna top each one of these with a little bit of the filling. We're gonna pop these under the broiler, and we're gonna be almost ready to show you how beautiful this can look for a special occasion. So come back with us after the break. Okay, so I've had you all ready for your next dinner for two, some sort of special occasion, or just any time that you want to be involved in making beautiful, delicious food. 3 wonderful recipes today. So let's walk back through what we did. We started with the Southern chopped salad, the beautiful arugula greens. I really want you to try that particular lettuce green because it's so good, but you could use Bibb lettuce, you could use iceberg if you prefer, but all the different components today, including the Cosmic Crisp apple that doesn't turn brown, and then the vinaigrette I just drizzled over the top. It's beautiful. You can make it ahead and just put the dressing on at the last minute. All right, then we did this fantastic French onion stuffed pork loin. See how beautifully it plates up? And really one piece would be fine if you had another vegetable to go on the plate or another starch, but I've flanked it side by side, put some of the extra drippings from the pan in there, the Stripling's black-eyed pea relish, which you can find on their website, is in the stuffing. It's also on the plate as like a relish. And then I just drizzled it. And we garnished the plate with just a little dollop of either strawberry, raspberry, blackberry preserve. And then you just run a knife through it to make it look like a heart. So that's really beautiful. Then the Oysters Kilpatrick can either be an appetizer before you sit down or at the dinner table, but 2 of those per person is plenty. I've got the rock salt again, used that as a garnish. I've got my citrus, and then I love my little cocktail forks. But remember, when you're using sterling silver, don't get it anywhere near that rock salt. It'll pit and ruin your sterling silver. So you're wondering where the dessert is. Dessert was really not part of this menu today, but what could be better than chocolate dipped strawberries for a very special occasion? So this time of year, they're big, they're beautiful. You can buy the long stem, dip in dark chocolate, drizzle with white chocolate. It's really, really beautiful. And you know, you can't do a great table setting without some creativity, without some components maybe that you might not have on hand. So this is where Hester and Cook is my go-to. With runners that we've put on the bottom with the green and white, to the red placemats, also the striped rectangular placemats. We've just thrown it all together and it really is so attractive. So I love to use those. They're place cards. You can do some themes, but they can also just be a three-dimensional component. All right, so we have got Hester and Cook on the table. Going back to the oysters for just a minute, where I cooked those in the oven, we did a show this fall where we cooked oysters on the Sea Island Forge grill. So, you know, some of these recipes, put your own spin on it. If you don't want to use the broiler, put it on the grill. I certainly recommend the Sea Island Forge grill, but that was such a great time to be with family and friends in the backyard. And it's also a romantic setting with the glow of the fire. Picked up the roses at the fresh market, and this vase is actually called a rose vase. It has a narrow opening, and so all you have to do is stick them in. So, like I always say on the Very Vera show, no matter what you do it in good taste. Please pick up the next Augusta magazine, because my next celebration is my 30th wedding anniversary, and you'll see there's recipes and a different version of this place setting there. See you next week.